The Strait of Hormuz is currently a major point of tension due to recent developments in the ongoing conflict between Israel and Iran involving the United States. The Strait of Hormuz is a vital waterway between the Persian Gulf and the Sea of Oman. It is only 39 kilometers wide at its narrowest point and is known as one of the world's most strategic choke points. About one-fifth of the world's daily oil and petroleum products pass through this strait. In addition, about one-fifth of the world's liquefied natural gas, or LNG, also passes through this route. It is a major energy export route for major oil-producing countries, such as Saudi Arabia, the United Arab Emirates, Iraq, and Kuwait. About 80% of the region's oil and all of its gas are exported through this route. There is no viable alternative sea route to the strait. As a result, its closure would virtually cut off oil supplies from the Middle East to the world, with a severe impact on the global economy. Iran's parliament has unanimously approved a proposal to close the Strait of Hormuz. This decision comes in direct retaliation for recent U.S. airstrikes on Iranian nuclear facilities, Fordo, Natanz and Isfahan. While the parliament has approved the measure, the final authority to implement the closure rests with Iran's Supreme National Security Council. As of now, a formal order to execute the blockade has not been issued. The potential closure of the Strait of Hormuz has sent shockwaves through global energy markets. This waterway is critically important as about one-fifth of global oil and petroleum products consumption and a significant portion of global liquefied natural gas trade passes through it daily. Experts warn that a sustained closure would disrupt trade flows, cause oil prices to surge dramatically, and could trigger global economic chaos. The U.S. has condemned Iran's move, with Secretary of State Marco Rubio calling it economic suicide and warning of a strong American and allied military response if the strait is closed. The Pentagon is reportedly preparing for potential naval confrontations to keep the strait open. Some shipping companies are already showing caution. There are reports of supertankers reversing course in the strait, and the Greek shipping ministry has advised its vessels to reassess voyages. However, other reports indicate that oil and gas tankers are still transiting the strait despite signal interference. The current situation echoes the 1980s tanker wars during the Iran-Iraq conflict, when both sides targeted oil tankers. However, Iran has never fully blocked the strait before, even during that conflict. India is closely monitoring the situation. While about 2 million barrels per day of India's crude oil imports transit the Strait of Hormuz, India has diversified its energy sources in recent years, including from Russia, Australia, Brazil, and the US, which might mitigate some of the immediate impact. However, a prolonged closure would still lead to global price increases that would affect India. China, heavily dependent on the strait for oil imports, has been urged by the US to use its influence with Tehran to prevent the closure. China, Russia, and Pakistan have also proposed a draft UN Security Council resolution calling for an immediate ceasefire and dialogue. In summary, while Iran's parliament has voted to close the Strait of Hormuz, the final decision has not been made. The international community is highly concerned about the potential economic and geopolitical fallout of such a move, and significant diplomatic and military pressure is being exerted to prevent a full blockade.